Hi friends, and welcome. I'm Barb Pask, an artist out of Ohio. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to paint on a 6x8 panel tonight. Going to do a figure, a lady that I took a photo of several years ago in a town north of here. I could, though it isn't in the picture, I could add a dog. I've thought about that. I'm not sure at this point. Several different ways I paint figures. One is to take a dark color and just block in the whole figure. I've done that. Another is to wipe out the figure. Actually, I have a video on here from quite a while back where I do some figures if you want to look for that. Yeah, another way would be to put a wash on here of a maybe whatever color, burnt sienna maybe, and go in and wipe out the shape of the figure. Again, like I said, when I first said, another way is to do the whole thing dark and then go in with color and highlights. And so I got a pencil here. I think I'm going to sketch around with a pencil. I don't know why. That's just what I'm doing tonight. All right, so let me look about her height. And I don't think I want her dead center, maybe more off to the side a little bit. And this is one of those canvases I used last time. I'm not sure how I feel about them. The texture is a little rough. So hopefully it won't fight us too much. And hopefully this don't flop around too much. See if we can get that any tighter. So I just kind of build her from the head down, decide how big the head is. That's the collar, that's the hood of her jacket. Just any markings you can find to help you get the proportions right and work your way down. Looking at the creases even like in her coat to help me. She's got a belt, which is kind of nice. But I usually like do the head. I kind of just build the body kind of. And she could be bigger. You know, with this we've got the sidewalk coming and some trees. We'll have to decide what we want. There's a building in the background here. You know, I don't want any of this to be too important, more important than her. So, and if we just wanted to focus on the figure tonight, we could just do her bigger for practice even. So I'm thinking about that. What I determined first was kind of the height that I wanted, and I kind of went with that. Let's think about maybe you can see the whole bottom of this shoe, or her arm comes out. See, so you very easily could add a leash and a dog if you wanted. One thing I do like really well, she's got this great big purse hanging on her arm here. Okay, so now we look at it. The figure is that big. But we've got a lot of other painting here that, you know, needs to be interesting. There is a sign here that says one way with an arrow that's kind of cute. And I set in some trees. But we really want her to pop, you know, she's the focal point, and she's the important element in this. See, if we did a dog, he'd be down in here someplace. I'm just looking at it, deciding whether, you know, she's large enough. I think what we'll do is we'll mix up a dark color. We're still gonna, you know, kind of half sketched her there. But I'm gonna mix up some ultramarine and some transparent red oxide. Just my darkest darks. And we're gonna work on just kind of blocking her in up there, kind of sketching her on with paint. And I may enlarge her as I go. Let me think about that. If we made her bigger and more important, you know, might be better. So there's her head. Even though we're doing it all dark, I'm still thinking about, you know, what I'm sketching. There's her hood. What's everybody working on? Are you an artist? Are you painting? I think I mentioned my group goes back Monday. Finally, after all this time, we've had a couple extended breaks. Last, of course, when the quarantine started, and then we got together again for a while, and then we took another break at the end of the year because attendance was kind of down, and it just felt like the right thing to do. So I'm hoping most people have had their shot. Those that are going to get it, I guess. As you can see, these are both transparent colors, so as I push them around, they're transparent. This is her elbow here. You only see half of that arm. I'm going to put a touch of water in this. This is water mixable oils I'm using. If you're new to my channel or not aware of that, I always say that they're just oils. There is no water in them. They're water cleanup. I have a good DVD on, it's Michelle Byrne actually, and it's on palette knife painting, but what I found most valuable was she talks about painting the figure. She tends to put the head heights all the same, which I know that wouldn't sound like that would work, but it does work for most of them. All right, and then we'll go down. She's got like leggings on. Hey, another good artist you should check out if you're not familiar with her is Karen Jurick. J-U-R-I-C-K, Karen Jurick. She does a lot of figures. She does a lot of, she takes pictures in art museums, and she'll do the figure in front of a famous painting. She actually, I think, she's got a couple videos here on YouTube. Check her out. Very, very good. She's got one on here where she does Dustin Hoffman on a, I think it's on a little 6x6. She's got one where she's filling up her palette And you wouldn't believe the different colors she uses. She's like, there is a world of color out there, use it. She uses a pizza pan and a lot of color. You know, I believe in a limited palette, at least till you really know what you're doing. That's what I preach. But she knows what she's doing. She knows what to do with it. And anytime you got a figure in a painting, that's going to be where you want your eye to go. So, you know, you're going to want to highlight it and maybe think about some good colors to draw your eye there. So it's kind of the basic shape. It wasn't a sunny day, but we are going to hit her with some highlights. I think we'll go ahead and just leave her for now, and we'll just get some color in the background. You know, I don't really care what's back there, and I don't want it to be important. So, I'm mixing a green and I'm graying it down with some red. Putting some white in there. Now, I've moved her over, so let's think about what you can see. Like I said, I really like the addition of that sign, so I want that in there. So it kind of changes my composition, you know, which is fine. And again, to me, none of this is very important back here. There's a building that comes into the scene. I do like that. And like I said, we want that sign. I think that would be a cool addition. And we didn't tone again, but maybe an orange wash would have been nice on this to start it with. The sidewalks up there are all kind of a orange brick. They may not be in my painting though. We're just this is all subject to change. Like I said, we're just trying to get some color on here. A couple trees right here. That's obviously very thin. the sky. You know, in the trees, she's got a jacket on, so when I took this shot, the trees were, they didn't have any leaves on them, but that doesn't mean that's what I'm going to want. I may, you know, it's my little world, it's my painting, so it's whatever I want, you know. It may have been fall, and there may have been some fall foliage even. So I say, if it's not a commission, you can be whatever you want it to be. Value-wise, the sky and the road look about the same. Like I said, again, it doesn't really matter what any of this is. I mean, and as you can see, I'm doing it pretty thin, so. I almost went out and painted from the car today someplace. I thought about it. Pretty day today. I did a lot of that last year during the quarantine, plein air car painted. I actually enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to want this sidewalk red brick, you know. I don't know that it matters. And these trees are in dirt, of course. All right, let's go back to the figure now. I'm going to clean my brush for the first time. I might go back. I'm working with two different brushes here right now. Then these are Rosemary and Company, and these are the Ivory, which are like a bristle. Rosemary and Company are very nice quality brushes. All right. All right, let's think about putting some color on her. Her coat's kind of a purple, which I like, so let's mix up a purple, ultramarine, and alizarin crimson. So we'll just kind of build what we see. Put the darker parts in it first. There's like a turquoise at the top, which is kind of nice. I like that. You know, and you could go really all out and give her a striped purse or a striped coat, whatever you wanted to draw her eye. You draw your eye, you know. brighten that up a little bit. The lights are coming from this side, so we'll put some really bright light over here. I'm trying to keep her painterly and just kind of lay in the strokes. Let's warm that up a little bit. Let's put a little orange in it. It's a very large brush for what we're doing. Might be too large, we'll have to decide. And one thing you could do, which I didn't do, is you could turn this into a black and white image so you could see your values a little better. I think what will really draw your eye will probably be that turquoise color. Wait a minute, I'm going for something else here. I'm going to put out a little squirt of phthalo. You know, I like that. It's a good color if you know how to use it and you're careful with it. Mix some white in it and a little yellow for the lighter side and a little more white. So that pulls a little more green. I think this is too light to be behind in the back cover, you know. And we may have some adjustments to make, of course. Can't see her face. Which I think it's fun to paint figures from the back. The leggings are black. There's actually a little stitching down the back. I don't know if that will matter or not. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of build them like there's that much space to the knee. And then we can help, you know, define the shape of these legs when we put the background in. You can see the shape of her calf. You know, those are the things you're going to want to look for to help you. You know, negative space. Her knees are almost touching. And we will need a little bit of flesh tone for her ankles, her hand. And flesh tone is basically the primaries, sometimes just red and yellow, sometimes some blue and white. You know, and there's lots of ways to get at that. Some people use burnt sienna. I mean, lots of ways to arrive there. You know, I'm just really putting in a block of color. I'm not really explaining a hand, but I may. I don't know. And then I can see a little bit of, I know that doesn't feel at all like a hand, but I'm not worried about it right now. These are huge brushes to be working with. There's her shoe. You can see this one's on the ground. This one's completely up in the air. I'm going to grab a little brush for just a minute. See, that's the bottom of that shoe. And I'm looking, I've got them pretty much exactly the same. This one is actually up a little bit, so we'll have to look for that. Now her purse is kind of a burnt sienna color. It could be whatever I wanted it to be. Some of it's darker than other places. You know, can you tell what she's carrying? Not necessarily. It could be a shopping bag, or doesn't matter, not really. Lighten up that strap a little bit. I'm doing this to the painting. We get used to so much of that touch stuff. Do it without thinking about it. Kind of the belt on her coat. See, I really like the way the hood looks. I think that nice color up there really draws your eye. Like I say, she's actually got like stitching down her leg. I don't know if that would be a good addition, if that would matter. It's cute in reality, but I don't know. I don't think it's going to really add anything to it. Let's just mix up a kind of a neutral color for the sidewalk, and then we can use some of that to help define her. I'll tell you one thing I do feel is I feel her head is too small. That feels better, doesn't it? They're saying now here in Ohio we can gather in small groups if you've had your shot and if you're 2 weeks out, but no more than 2 households, I think they're saying. So I'm 2 weeks out now, and my daughter it will be tomorrow, and my husband will be Saturday, so maybe we can all start spending a little time together. That's what I've missed the most this year, is the family gatherings. And my family's a hoot. I miss them. We have such fun together. We're going to try to do Easter safely with mask. I don't really care if we finish this. My main idea was to get the figure painted in. So let's just mix up something, and we'll block in this, and we'll block in these negative spaces between her legs and around her, and see how that looks. So we'll just go for typical sidewalk and roadways, you know, are typically concrete, so they're kind of gray. So we'll kind of just mix up the 3 primaries and maybe keep it warm and light. Let's work around the body first and look at these negative spaces. Okay, let's switch to bigger brush now. And, you know, we may then need to bring the leg back out. You know, it's just, I'm always saying that it's push and pull. You know, this may need to come back out a little bit once we get the background in so it feels correct. You know, I could have chosen an image where we had bare legs showing. Bring her calf out a little bit. Bringing our coat up a little bit too as we go. So it goes in and back out. I'm feeling as though maybe we need to adjust the feet a little bit. Let me look at that again. Let me see if it feels like this is the right length now. And this one, let me see where this actually ends, probably up in there. So that one's a little long. Again, I could make my life easier, I guess, and switch to a smaller brush, but, you know, I'm trying to be painterly for one thing. One thing we very subtly have, you know, is a shadow. Again, it wasn't a very sunny day, but What we're going to do now is take some pure white, and we're going to put some highlights on her. Gosh, can you hear that strange sound? I don't know what my husband has on TV, but he doesn't hear well, so whatever he's got on is usually loud. He owns hearing aids, but he doesn't wear them much. So we've lit her up, you know, from this side, primarily, you know. I know this is the color that I using for the sidewalk, but I want to define her elbow up there. Again, we want her to pop, so if it means surrounding her in lighter colors, we might do that. You know, her head's dark, so if we, for example, we lighten up the sky around her. Again, nobody has to really understand exactly what's behind her. She's in a city scene, and again, one thing I did like, I thought initially, was that sign. We'll just kind of try it and see. I mean, we can always take it out. And again, I'm using a very large brush. I watched a nice little demo today, actually, on TikTok. People can go live on there. And this lady was painting gouache, which I own some, but I haven't played with them much. They're an opaque watercolor. And she was doing a little lollipop, a Tootsie Roll pop. And because it's gouache, unlike oils, acrylics and watercolors and gouache can be nice, I think, for tighter work. And she was doing the lettering on the little Tootsie Roll Pop, and the gouache worked really nice for that. She did a nice job. Okay, I don't know if I might have to do this later. This is very wet, but you know, oils are nice if you like an impressionistic look and you don't plan to be real precise. But of course you can always layer with oils and come back too. I mean, you don't have to do it in one shot like I typically do. And then it says one way, you know. I'll think about that. You know, we could add it later. Once it dries some, you know. Sorry that jumps around so much. I'm warming it up as it comes toward me a little bit. Let's water it down a little bit too. I'm about to paint my iPad. Wait a minute. I've said this before, but there's a saying about artists have two wardrobes, one that has paint on them and one that will have paint on them. You've probably heard that, but it's true of most of the things that we own too, isn't it? And again, I talked about, you know, putting a leash here and a dog. You sure could if you wanted. My main goal was to get the figure in. Do a few more little highlights. You know, and these could be light posts rather than trees. You know, we're in the city, so. All right, how long we've been at this? About 50 minutes. I'll get you in front and show you. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going with it from here. But let me show you my figure. She was my main concern, of course. Like and subscribe if you haven't, please. I'm trying to get us up to 1,000. I will have a giveaway of a painting when I get up to 1,000. I've done it a couple other times. We'll do it again. But here's where it is. We'll zoom you in here. See, we did her dark, if you recall. We just blocked in the whole shape. And then I went in with a lighter touch and started adding some color. And the last thing we did was the highlights. So I think she stands out. There's a lot of it that I feel isn't finished. The trees are just kind of loosely blocked in. I was mostly, again, trying to get the figure done, but I haven't made many decisions. Again, we could do light posts instead of trees. I've got a lot of those in my photos too, so, or I could put that dog in. All right, I hope you enjoy this. Like I said, lots of ways to go at the figure. This is one. I have, like I said, put a wash on and went in and wiped the whole figure out too. That works well also. So if you don't have a lot of experience with painting figures, it's always, again, it's a fun challenge. All right, I appreciate you joining me, and don't forget to like and subscribe and watch for me next time. Bye-bye.